2020 to Audi Q4 e-tron review. What's new? The Audi Q4 e-tron is an all-new electric SUV. Kicks off the first Q4 e-tron generation. Performance. How is the Q4 e-tron propelled? The Q450 e-tron, which we examined, is speedy and boasts neat, responsive handling. Because of its extremely tight turning radius, it excels in parking lots and U-turns. So why is it trailing the rest of the group here? Finally, the Q4 lacks the power and regenerative braking capabilities of its competitors. The Q450 e-tron adds a front electric motor for a significant increase in speed and traction over the single motor rear-wheel drive 40 e-tron model. The 50 e-tron accelerated from 0 to 60 mph in 5.7 seconds on our test track. By most standards, that's fast. But the Q4's current direct rival is over a second faster. Regenerative braking, the technique by which a car can use its motors to slow and reclaim some of its lost energy, is lighter than we'd like in the fourth quarter. Using the steering wheel paddles, you may adjust the strength to your liking. However, we wish the strongest level was more aggressive. In addition, there is no full one-pedal driving. Q4 will not come to a complete stop, using only Regan braking. This will be a letdown for some experienced EV drivers. Our measured panic stopping distances from 60 mph were also slightly longer than we would have expected for a luxury electric vehicle. Comfort. How comfy is the Q4 e-tron? The Q4 provides adequate comfort across the board, but is unlikely to impress you in any manner. Its best feature is its peaceful cabin. Our test vehicle featured the optional sound-reducing windows, and noises entering the cabin were greatly reduced. The ride quality and seats, on the other hand, are underwhelming. The front seats are a little flat, and lack lateral support. Seat ventilation is currently unavailable. We first believed the Q4 did a good job of cushioning road vibrations, but on some bumpier parts of highway, it didn't conceal its movements very well, resulting in a hectic, choppy ride. The climate control is simple to use, and did a decent job of keeping our target temperature stable during testing. The air vents are straightforward and manually adjustable, albeit the driver's side vents point right at your hands when you're behind the wheel. Technology. How's the technology? Audi normally provides a solid tech package, and our test vehicle was no exception. The Audi Virtual Cockpit, which shows a useful navigation map directly in your gauge cluster, was improved in our Prestige trim test vehicle. This trim also includes a new augmented reality head-up display, which projected turn-by-turn directions onto the windshield, which we thought was really cool. The Q4 also boasts the first Sonos-tuned audio system. The sound quality was adequate, but we didn't find it particularly noteworthy. There are numerous USB connections on board, as well as an optional wireless charger, and wireless and wired smartphone connectivity with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. The amount of time it is in the world. For example, in the world of the world of the world of the world. However, it is not as advanced as some of the most recent voice recognition technologies in other brands. Driver aids are offered on the Premium Plus trim level and higher, and they are quite finely tuned. We like how Audi's system can detect when you have a hand on the wheel, and doesn't require you to shake it every now and then to prove you're still there. The only thing lacking is a surround view camera, which most rivals provide. Storage. How is the storage situation? The Q4 provides adequate cargo room, but others simply provide more. The capacity accessible behind the rear seat is 24.8 cubic feet, which is equivalent to the Genesis GV60, but falls short of the Tesla Model Y's 30.2 cubic feet. This doesn't even take into account the Tesla's 4.1 cubic foot front trunk, which the Q4 lacks. We like that the rear seat backs can be folded flat, and that the rear seat can be folded in 3 portions. If you use kids' safety seats, we found plenty of room in the back seats, and we like how the lash covers slide up out of the way rather than popping out, which is generally the first step to losing them. Each seat has 3 top tether anchors on the back, allowing you to fit a seat in any of the locations. Storage for little objects in the cabin is adequate, but not exceptional. Right beneath the gear selector is a large rubberized compartment for personal belongings, and the middle armrest bin is quite deep despite its square appearance. The bottle containers built into the doors are clean, simple, and functional. Range and efficiency. How do the range and efficiency compare? According to the EPA, the 2022 Q4 50 e-tron Quattro, which we tested, has a range of 241 miles on a full charge. It's worth mentioning that the official EPA range for 2023 vehicles is 236 miles. Both model years are said to utilize 36 kWh of electricity per 100 miles driven. Neither figure is particularly impressive. However, in Edmunds' real-world testing, our 2022 test model traveled 270 miles, about 30 miles further than the EPA estimate, and required only 31.3 kWh of energy per 100 miles. Keep in mind that the lesser the kWh value, the better. This range should be sufficient for most EV consumers, and it is comparable to what the Genesis GV60 was able to deliver. However, both fell far short of the Tesla model while long range. However, when you consider the power disparity between the Q4 and most other EVs in its class, the range and efficiency are a little less spectacular. As far as charging goes, the Q4 e-tron is capable of DC, quick, charging, at a rate of 150 kilowatts, which is decent. Under ideal conditions, Audi predicts that rapid charging will allow you to move from 5% to 80% battery charge in 36 minutes. In comparison, with the correct charging stations, and under perfect conditions, the Model Y would take roughly 27 minutes to charge the battery, and the GV60 would take about 18 minutes. Value. Is the Q4 e-tron an excellent buy? The Q4 e-tron has a cheaper entry cost than most of its luxury competition in single motor configuration. When fully loaded, the Q4's price is comparable to its competitors, however, it doesn't offer quite the same power or amount of features. Audi always performs a fantastic job with interior design, and it serves to improve the appearance and feel of the car. The interior of the Q4 feels totally modern, but several details, including as the plastic on the center console and wood trim pieces, appear to be low budget. Finally, we believe the Q4 provides above average value for money. The warranty and roadside assistance coverage of the Q4 are both solidly average. We think most people will find the Q4 e-tron mildly fun to drive. Mild also applies to the Q4's exterior design. It's not pushing any boundaries or starting any trends. It's also not offensive or trendy. It's pleasant enough to look at, but few people are going to give it a second glance. We recommend the rear-wheel drive Q4 40 e-tron since this single-motor version has plenty of power, and its 265-mile range estimate makes it the leader in the lineup. We'd also spring for the mid-level Premium Plus trim, since it adds several desirable convenience and comfort features for a reasonable price. The 2022 Audi Q4 e-tron is a fully electric SUV with seating for 5 people. The Q4 e-tron is available in 3 trim levels: Premium, Premium Plus and Prestige. All have a 77 kWh battery pack and are available with rear-wheel drive 40 e-tron or Quattro all-wheel drive 50 e-tron. On the rear drive version, you get one electric motor and an output of 201 horsepower. With the Quattro Q4 e-tron, power increases to 295 HP, with one motor running the front wheels and another running the rear.